All right, thank you, Keller. Well, a tragic story out of Caledonia tonight. A pit bull mauled a 15-month-old boy.
That boy has severe bite marks to his face and is being treated at Children's Hospital. This is a nightmare for parents.
Yeah, so we have invited a dog behavior trainer and consultant, Holly Lewis, in to join us tonight. Holly, thanks for being here on a difficult topic for sure.
Extremely difficult.
What is the first thing that parents should know about young kids and dogs?
Young kids and dogs are both unpredictable, and that's what makes things really difficult between their interactions, because we don't know what either of them are going to do.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that we're supervising as much as we can, providing our dogs and our children with enrichment outside of each other, and teaching our kids some basic safety skills around dogs.
Holly, we have heard that the little boy was on the floor possibly eating a cookie nearby the dog. Is that a bad thing to do?
It is something to be mindful of. Some dogs are really extremely food motivated, some dogs are not. So it's difficult to say because it does vary by dog.
Now, this particular dog apparently had bitten someone before. Does that raise a red flag?
It certainly makes us think, and it does give me, raise a little bit of caution, but it doesn't have to mean that the dog is vicious or aggressive or shouldn't be around children or other people.
Yeah.
And this particular incident involved a pit bull, but you hear it all the time. Pit bull owners, they defend their breed.
Yes.
They say their dog is safe. What should we all be mindful of when we're talking about all breeds of dogs?
We should be looking for things like, is my dog licking their lips? Is my dog yawning? Is their tail tucked? Are they trying to get away from a situation? And this might be an adult or a child, and we need to respect those cues.
Is that kind of a danger, a warning sign?
Those are signs that my dog might be uncomfortable,
Exactly.
and I need to respect it and let them move away or let them respond in order that we're keeping everyone safe.
Yeah.
And it's always important for kids to ask permission to pet a dog and
Good
let
point.
the dog approach them.
Right. Very.
Okay, welcome back. I want to start this stream with that news segment. A dog behaviorist. She was brave enough to go on to the news, TMJ4 News, because TMJ4 News is a bunch of pit bull lovers. They're a bunch of dog lovers. I cannot get these people to interact with me. And sometimes I get frustrated. But I know why. It is because they know that we're not going to have a debate. They all know this. Not because of anything special about me per se. These behaviorists, like her, they know that it's going to be a one-sided destruction. And they would rather not experience that. That's all it is. The thing is, and this dawned on me as I was reading comments from people who are critical of pit bulls. You know how something dawns on you and it's a powerful feeling where you know you stumbled across the truth that you've never really articulated in your mind. I saw a few comments from people critical of pit bulls. And what I noticed, the thing that reduces their power is the fact that they are so scattered. You find them here and there, especially on videos that are pro pit bull. And the special thing about my channel, other anti-dog channels, forums, websites, platforms, what's different about them is that these are the areas where anti-dog people communicate and share information and function like a large brain. When you have people who congregate and exchange information, your power increases rapidly, and it has endless growth. So this is a danger zone for her and other dog behaviorists. It's not a debate, dialogue, nothing like that. They know that if they engage us, and listen, any of you want to, behaviorist, if any of you want to, veterinarian, whatever you are, I want you to have credentials that you can prove. I want a PhD, some type of certificate that you get after extensive training. I would prefer that you are a licensed behaviorist or whatever, because I want to use those against you. Your job will be to defend your expertise and school us on the truth. But if you lose the debate, that is going to not only shatter your reputation, but the reputation of every other so-called expert who has the same credentials or similar credentials. What really scares these dog lovers, and I want to focus on pit bulls, because it's rather difficult to take down dogs in general, but pit bulls is easy work. One of the problems that these people have is that they have had the privilege of not being challenged year after year. Their subtle propaganda has intimidated most people. But now that is not so. And they see that we have the upper hand. So this is an era, right now is the era of the destruction of pit bull advocacy. Now, some of you pit bull lovers, you might say, well, whatever. I don't care what you say or what any of you say. I'm going to continue to support pit bulls. That's fine. But your narrative will still be destroyed. Some of the most ridiculous arguments you could ever ask to hear in your life are heard or is heard in this news segment.
Night, Holly. Thanks for being here on a difficult topic for sure.
Extremely difficult.
What is the first thing that parents should know about young kids and dogs?
Young kids and dogs are both unpredictable.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is popular. This is not specific to her. This is a popular pit bull narrative, dog narrative in general. But I have to focus on pit bulls. We have to take pit bulls down. It is time. Shout out to India. India is really waging war on pit bulls right now. I'll get to that in a minute. Kids are predictable. Let's stop with this. Kids will not rip anybody to shreds. You can't say the same about pit bulls. Let's stop with that. You've had the luxury of people refusing to hold what you say up to scrutiny long enough. Kids are predictable. It's the dogs that are not predictable.
And that's what makes things really difficult between their interactions, because we don't know what either of them are going to do.
Okay, listen. What? She talks as if the dog could maul the child and the child might maul the dog. She speaks as if both the pit bull and the child have the same capabilities. They do not. Now, only one person can be right and one person will have to be wrong. You or me. Is it or is it not a fact that a child is not going to rip anybody to shreds, specifically that dog? Do you think there is one child on this planet? And in this video, as you all saw, they showed a toddler. Child looked like he was about 2 or 3 years old. Just recently learned to walk. Is there one child on this planet capable of damaging a pit bull at all? Don't be silly. Don't be silly. See, this is their dilemma. They've heard, they know their own talking points, narratives. And to see a bunch of people focusing on the flaws in these narratives, it has them shaking in their boots. They're terrified. And again, it's not anything special about me. What I say here on this channel, you can find several people saying in the comment sections of several videos. Those of you who read comment sections, you know I'm telling the truth. You know that I'm simply regurgitating many things that many anti-dog, anti-pit bull individuals have said. So she's already had 2 strikes against her with these talking points. Kids are predictable. Dogs are not predictable.
So we need to make sure that we're supervising as much as we can, providing our dogs and our children with enrichment outside of each other, and teaching.
Now, obviously, when they say kids are unpredictable, they're saying that you don't know what the child might do to the dog. That's what they're saying. But mind you, they don't have any reports on their side of a dog attacking a child because of something that the child did to the dog. They don't even have that on their side. You know, like we have video footage of dogs attacking unprovoked, a never-ending litany of videos. They don't have any counter videos where a child walks up, has a toy in his hand and whacks the dog across the face, and then the dog mauls the child. People, have y'all noticed? We don't hear stories like that. We don't see situations like that. We don't hear any news reports like that. Right? So they're off to a bad start.
Our kids some basic safety skills around dogs.
Holly, we have heard
Well,
that.
how you going to teach a child this young some type of basic safety skills? When a dog is around children, especially this young,
Little boy.
they're in danger. End of story. I don't want to hear nothing about looking for a dog licking its lips, tucking its tail. They're in danger, and only they are in danger. The dog is not in danger. That's either true or it's not. Yes, it's true. So this is bad. This is a horrible argument. I don't know how they've gotten this far with these talking points.
It was on the floor, possibly eating a cookie nearby the dog. Is that a bad thing to do?
Said the boy was eating a cookie by the dog. Is that a bad thing to do?
It is something to be mindful of.
It's something to be mindful of. Do y'all know these pit bull lovers? If you listen to them speak, they sound like people who privately love the thought, the idea of kids being ripped to shreds. They talk like people who can't wait to see it. So their job is to try their best to convince you that they're harmless. Right? She said, hey, child was just eating a cookie. Is that okay? Is there something wrong with that? And listen to her response.
To do.
It is something to be mindful of.
So a child is not safe sitting eating a cookie. Again, having a dog around requires that they restrict the child of a bunch of freedoms. They don't restrict the dog of any freedoms. And what is that? Abuse. Pit bulls need to be exterminated globally in the interest of child safety more than anything else. Pit bulls need to be exterminated globally in the interest of child safety. Anybody stupid enough to disagree with that is too stupid to engage. Don't even pay them any attention. They know that when they come here, they're going to hear people who have strengthened their beliefs by testing their beliefs against each other. That's basically what we do here. It's a, what do they call it? A think tank. Where they throw something out. One of us will throw something out and somebody will say, hey, yeah, that's a good idea, but such and such. We do it all the time. So we hold our own ideas up to scrutiny. Pit bull lovers don't do that. They avoid doing that like the plague. And that is what makes them easy work. And I don't think masses of people have congregated and actually done this. I think this is sort of unprecedented. Okay, now let's listen to this bloodthirsty pit bull lover who just can't wait to see another child ripped to shreds.
Something to be mindful of. Some dogs are really extremely food motivated. Some dogs are not.
Some dogs are extremely food. They all are. What are you talking about? What? What is she talking about? For a dog to not be food motivated, something is wrong with it. And you all know that. Don't see, part of the narrative involves playing dumb. You know, she got to play dumb. You know, all dogs are obsessed with food. Stop it. See, already lying. They are pathological liars.
Some dogs are really extremely food motivated. Some dogs are not. So it's difficult to say because it does vary by dog.
Now, this particular dog apparently had bitten someone before. Does that raise a red flag?
The particular dog, had bitten someone before, already shown aggression. And he asked her, okay, let's rewind.
By dog.
Now, this particular dog apparently had bitten someone before. Does that raise a red flag?
Does that raise a red flag? Now listen to the bloodthirsty pit bull lover who loves hearing stories of kids getting their throats ripped out. Listen to her answer.
It certainly makes us think. And
it makes us think. Oh, yeah, that would make me think. Doesn't that sound like a bloodthirsty person? They're totally numb to the thought of a child getting their head bitten off. It makes me think. Really?
It does give me.
It does give me. She's trying her best to avoid sounding like a bloodthirsty devil. She's trying to hide how eager she is to see a child ripped apart. So she kind of stumbles over her own thoughts.
And it does...
She's like, oh, now let me think of something respectable and responsible to say. Because the idea that the dog has already attacked someone, that turns pit bull lovers on. They want to see those types of dogs around kids more than any other type of pit bulls. And I'm not exaggerating. If they hear that a pit bull has attacked multiple people, they want to see kids around that pit bull more than they want to see any other pit bull around kids. The more dangerous, the more turned on they are. It's like this sick fetish to violence, sick fetish for something that is deadly. That's a huge part of pit nutter obsession. They get off on it. They truly admire how dangerous they are. That's why it's so easy for them to go on those videos where they train pit bulls to fight, and they leave comments. What was that guy with that pit bull trainer where he will take people, let them see how he trains guard. He calls them guard dogs, but they're all bully breeds of pit bulls. Video got like 10, 15 million views all through there. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So people trust me, if not consciously, subconsciously. These people get off on the idea, the thought, the possibility of a child being mutilated. Again, that's why those videos where pit bulls are alone with babies and toddlers get so many views, so many shares. They're getting off on it.
Apparently had bitten someone before. Does that raise a red flag?
It certainly makes us think, and it does give me, raise a little bit of caution.
Raise a little bit of caution. A little bit? What more do you have to hear about the dog's history? What more could it possibly do other than attack someone already? And so the pit bull does the worst it could possibly do. And she says what now?
Give me, raise a little bit of caution.
Raise a little bit of, okay.
But it doesn't have to mean that the dog is vicious or aggressive or shouldn't be around children.
Wow. And she still advises people in possession of a pit bull that has already shown aggression and attacked someone. She still advises them to take those pit bulls around children. What does that sound like to you? These are people who love the idea of kids being mutilated. That's the beginning and end of it. And this is the destruction of pit bull advocacy, because this is the first time people are actually verbalizing it and reflecting on it. Because if these people are truly disturbed by the thought of children being torn apart, they would be against pit bulls. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science. They will look, for the first time, they will look at images of mutilated children who've been attacked by pit bulls, and you know how those children look. And immediately, it wouldn't take them no time. You ask them right then and there, is it safe for these things to be around kids? Are you out of your mind? They would be offended that you even asked them such a question. That's people who truly concerned and disturbed and bothered by the thought and really by the cases. She knows full well that thousands upon thousands of kids have already been attacked and that they are attacked every single day. There's no way this woman could convince me that it disturbs her that these attacks, because in their mind, all of those attacks are the result of the child misbehaving.
For other people.
Yeah.
And this particular incident involved a pit bull, but you hear it all the time. Pit bull owners, they defend their breed.
Yes.
They say their dog is safe. What should we all be mindful of when we're talking about all breeds of dogs?
And wow. I don't even want to show that. Let me get out of here. I can't believe they showed that. I don't know. What is that boy was like 2 years old, maybe? All alone. No adult nowhere. Walks up and puts his hand up to the dog's mouth. Now, with that image in mind of the child walking up to the dog and putting food into the dog's mouth, listen to this.
In order that we're keeping everyone safe.
Yeah.
And it's always important for kids to ask permission to pet a dog and
Good
let
point.
the dog approach them.
Let the dog approach them. This is after you already showed a child approaching the dog multiple times. So they say one thing and promote the opposite because they want that bloodshed. There's no other conclusion I can reach. This is based on their own rhetoric. You have made yourselves sound like Satanists who love and get off on blood sacrifices, and you prefer that the blood comes from a child. The younger, the better in your mind. This is not a manufactured projection of pit bull lovers. This is examining your behavior, your language, and applying it to the appropriate character. You sound like a Satanist. Now, shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream. It is always a pleasure to spend time with you all. I'm going to be up for a long time, and I will go live again with the members a little while after this live stream. But I want to examine these pit bulls that this woman has spoken of like angels. And I want to join forces with a anti-pit bull crusade that has been going on for a long time. It just hasn't gotten much publicity. Some of you might remember early in my YouTube experience, I really didn't focus on pit bulls. Some people thought like, why don't you ever talk about pit bulls? And I was doing this for years. Some of you might recall. And that is because I didn't want to differentiate between the dogs. And I wanted to hammer home that all dogs are dangerous and they all should be banned. So I spent enough time operating like that. But now I see an easy target. Pit bulls are easy targets. And it shouldn't take much. It's not taking much. As a matter of fact, how many of you, again, shout out to India. Let me start this off with some recent stories. Over there in India, they're really taking this thing seriously. Okay, there is here it is right here. And this was interesting. When I first saw this, okay, this surfaced today. When I first saw this, I said, wow, they need to do that here in the United States. And I just felt proud. I felt proud of the Indians. And what I'm talking about is the length of this video. It's over a half hour. You know how they usually spend a few minutes and they're done with it. This is over a half hour. On top of that, they're speaking English. They say some more things. Listen to them, and you tell me if you think they're listening. What I'm starting to notice is that people in other countries outside of the United States are starting to notice us more than Americans. They know the truth when they hear it. Check this out.
The Kerala government is now going to be seeking permission from the Supreme Court to cull stray dogs to deal with the menace which has till date.
Okay, they started this thing off talking about culling these things, exterminating them. Now that's what I'm talking about. Now you're talking.
Increasing incidents of dog attacks. The Kerala government is now going to be seeking permission from the Supreme Court to cull stray dogs to deal with the menace which has till date claimed over 20 lives in the state in the last 1 year. More than 1 lakh people in the state in the last 1 year have been bitten by stray dogs. The issue, however, is not limited to Kerala. In recent weeks, we have seen some shocking incidents of dog attacks on unsuspecting people that have been reported from across the country. In many cases, the attacks have been by pet dogs. So we are talking about 2 separate issues here. First is Kerala dealing with...
Okay, she said by pet dogs.
Stray dogs, and then there is urban India dealing with pet dogs and increasing incidents of pet dogs biting neighbors, biting strangers. Take a look at this. In Ghaziabad, a child was bitten by a pet dog inside the lift of the housing society. A similar incident taking place in Noida, where a man was attacked inside a lift by a pet dog, after which the boy who was with the dog had to drag it away. Another set of pictures, and this really was shocking. These came in today and is going viral. In Panvel, which is a city near Mumbai, a Zomato delivery executive was bitten in his private parts by a pet dog, leaving him absolutely bleeding. You see the pictures. These are horrifying. With these incidents happening in quick succession, a long-standing tussle has come to a head. Housing societies and cities have always had raging disagreements, as you know, over pets, where they should be allowed and how pet owners should behave on common property. So as that debate goes on, we today are going to limit our focus to what is happening in Kerala. The nature of the crisis in Kerala, as I've already spoken about, is completely different. This year...
Oh! Wait a minute. Yeah, that one's a little too graphic, but I'm going to keep the audio going here. Bear with me here.
21 people have lost their lives because of dog bites in the state. Over 1 lakh people have suffered stray dog bites in the state. Out of those who have died, out of the 21 who have died, there have been children, and 5 of them had actually received an anti-rabies vaccine. That raises the concern over the mass vaccination drive that has been announced by the Kerala government from September 20th. Now, there are numerous instances of stray dogs attacking people and biting them in the state. In fact, just take a look at the pictures you have and you'll see them one by one. In Kozhikode district, there is a boy who's riding his bicycle. He's attacked by a stray dog right outside his house. Was there any provocation? That's not the video. That's the video we are talking about. There was no provocation in this case.
How? Did you hear how she pointed out that it was unprovoked? She made sure to specify that there was no provocation. This is what I'm talking about. As you watch, I'm talking about these journalists, as you show these attacks, every time you're supposed to specify that it was unprovoked. You're supposed to articulate what's in the video in such a way where a blind person could get an accurate picture of what's happening or what happened. This is something that's very rare. It's basically non-existent in American journalism. They do not say, hey, that was unprovoked. Because if they say that too many times, these behaviors can't get away with saying things like Ilana Reisner, saying things like, unless a dog is sick, it is always provoked by something. They never attack for no reason. Several behaviorists have said that. So I feel like India is cranking it up, as they should, as all countries should, if you care about your own children. Are you human? All countries should. If you're human, the only way you could be comfortable with these killers is if you're subhuman. Now, they're just talking about dogs. They're not focusing in on pit bulls. But I want to focus on pit bulls tonight. Now, I want to ask y'all a question.
Thank you, Jackie.
Oh, wait a minute.
A sad story out of Wilmer tonight. A 6-year-old boy is fighting for his life in a Birmingham hospital after he was mauled by a pit bull. It's the second dog attack on a child in 2 weeks. News 5's Allison Spann has the heartbreaking story.
Now being safely held behind bars, this 1-year-old pit bull named Junior is responsible for a brutal attack on a young...
Now. Most pit bull lovers will say, look at that sweet face. Look at that innocent face. Wouldn't harm one hair on a child's head. They take photos of dogs with this look and they project it as evidence and proof that pit bulls are harmless and that they have a heart. They've been running this nonsense on people for far too long. And I'm glad it's over. And this mutant is looking like that after already mauling a child. So you can't say that it's a sign of its innocence. They have been running this low IQ rhetoric onto the masses. And we should feel ashamed that we accepted it, even for 1 minute.
We held behind bars, this 1-year-old pit bull named Junior is responsible for a brutal attack on a young boy. 6-year-old Andrew Bolger was playing outside of this house when the dog...
It's so disrespectful that I can't show kids. They don't want people to remember the faces. Horrible. See, people don't forget faces.
Lunged for his neck.
Okay, the boy was playing and the dog lunged for his neck. Let's play that again.
Bolger was playing outside of this house when the dog lunged for his neck.
The dog was on a chain. He was chained up. There were several children playing, and the dog broke free and attacked the 6-year-old.
Okay, what'd you just hear? You heard an unprovoked attack. Child playing, pit bull broke loose, and as always, when they break free, first thing they do, look for somebody to attack. This dog probably already was zoned in on the child before it broke free. And it broke free because it was trying to get the child unprovoked. And this behaviorist and all these other ones, they want to talk about the child's behavior anytime they talk about dog attacks on children. See, there's something that feels really good inside when you lift the veil on a lie and false propaganda. And that is why they know that this movement will never die. It's going to grow from now on until we encompass the whole planet. because this has been a bunch of false propaganda and people are waking up.
The 6-year-old.
According to witnesses, the pit bull shook Andrew back and forth by his neck.
For what? Do y'all hear that? Y'all hear that sustained attack? It clamped down, locked its jaws, and I'm going to say locked. I'm going to say locked because I know everybody out there knows that I'm not saying that you need a key to open it. Locked down and started to shake. Did you hear that? That style of an attack, it's unique to bully breeds. It's far more destructive. That type of attack is intended to cause maximum damage, to rip and shred arteries to the point where they can't be repaired. And that is what makes these particular breed more dangerous. And these people, they hate that. They hate when we talk like this. Yes, the breed. Pit bull, pit bull, pit bull. More dangerous, more deadly. Yeah. Go ahead, cry me a river.
Back and forth by his neck.
We went to the hospital to see the injuries there. We made the contact to animal control so that they could go out and investigate the dog and the dog owner.
Andrew's injuries are extremely severe. His aunt tells us his initial condition was so bad that he had to be airlifted to UAB in order to receive treatment. He's currently still there fighting for his life.
We understand that it's very severe.
You pit bull lovers, you love that, don't you? I bet all you pit bull lovers, you got images of mutilated kids on your desktop background. I'm just asking, do you? You know, do you get these images laminated and hang them on your wall? You have to, because you're not disturbed by this type of stuff. So you must enjoy it. You hear stories like this and you want a pit bull yourself. You want more kids around them. You form an organization where you bring these mutants into classrooms and libraries. Where are the kids? Where are the kids? Huh? People are not going to want to be a part of that sickness.
And very serious at this point.
As far as the dog is concerned, he will be spending 10 days in quarantine.
10 days in quarantine. What is that supposed to do? Why not make it spend the rest of its years underground? That sounds like a better idea. Why are you wasting our money?
In the meantime, the county will be conducting an investigation into this vicious attack.
Investigation. Nothing ever comes out of these investigations. They would love to investigate and find out that the child actually did something. They never come back and say anything like that. These are nothing but their way of trying to keep pit bulls in society. These stupid investigations. To keep the public believing that something had to have triggered the dog. You heard the story. Thing just broke free and attacked. What do you need to investigate? The dog saw the child, wanted to attack the child, and did it. But no, these people want to say, oh, well, we have to ask the neighbors, the mailman, if they've ever seen the dog act aggressively. Because if they haven't, then we must assume something the child did set the dog off. And the dog was not in its normal state of mind. That's the idea behind investigations. And that will not stand the test of time, I don't think. I don't believe so. right? Who wants to be a part of a group like that?
All right, thank you, Keller. Well, a tragic story out of Caledonia tonight.
Sorry about that. We already watched that one. That's the video that I'm going to base this stream on. You know, I had a guest. She's my guest. Guest behaviorist. Somebody took me up on my challenge.
2 women were hospitalized today after being attacked by their family dog in the Rosedale area. It happened about 9 o'clock this morning on Catherine Drive. Sheriffs tell us one of the roommates began to have a seizure and the other was trying to help her. The dog apparently thought the two were fighting and began to attack them. The owner of the dog actually put it inside a room and closed the door so she could call for help. But her roommate woke up from the seizure and panicked and accidentally went into the room where a second attack occurred.
Y'all hear that? Did y'all catch that? How about that? Family dog. Woman started having a seizure. And as usual, when you have a seizure, the dog will attack you. They don't try to help you when they see you having a seizure. They usually attack you. So she had a seizure and the other girl was trying to help her. And they say that the dog thought that they were fighting. How do they know that? Y'all see how they just threw that in there? They had to take a moment to think for the dog and tell you what was on the dog's mind. She's having a seizure. The other girl's helping her. And, oh, the dog thought they were having a fight, so it started to attack them. Started to attack the girl having a seizure. Why would the dog attack the girl having a seizure?
Sheriffs tell us one of the roommates began to have a seizure and the other was trying to help her. The dog apparently thought the two were fighting and began to attack them. The owner of the dog actually put it inside a room and closed the door so she could call for help. But her roommate woke up from the seizure and panicked.
So the girl had a seizure. The dog attacks her. The other girl puts the dog into a room. And the girl who was having a seizure woke up, realized that she had been attacked by a dog, accidentally went into the room where the dog was and got attacked again. That is true love, right? Talk about a loving creature. How about that? Oh, but let's bring them around children. Yeah? The best friend of children, right?
Police say aggressive pit bulls attacked 3 people, sending 2 of them to the hospital.
The victims were trying to protect trick-or-treaters in a Garland neighborhood last night. Police shot and killed 1 dog after it lunged at a responding officer. The other dog...
This happens often. When you take your kids out for trick-or-treat, be armed. Pit nutters love to expose their dog to kids. They see that as the perfect time to let their pit bulls out. Don't be dumb. They love bloodshed when the blood belongs to a child.
Dog is in quarantine tonight. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live in Garland with the story. Lori.
Heather, the manager of the Garland shelter, says it is not safe to release the dog back to its owner. Police are working to determine if the owner should face criminal charges for the attacks.
When the dog was running after me and it almost made me trip and fall.
It is not the kind of terrifying Halloween experience that 3 sisters and their friend were looking for.
I was running behind my sisters.
Their mother, Michelle Wagner, acted fast.
I didn't care about me getting bitten, but I didn't want them to get bitten.
After her kids got away, Wagner managed to get on top of a car while being attacked.
So I just thought they was going to kill me.
A resident yelled at the dogs, which then ran away and began attacking a man.
And he was screaming and they was telling him to get on the car, get on the...
Dogs started to attack a man. Now, the parent was with the children. Now, let me ask you dog nutters something. You pit nutters. You always go on and on about how necessary supervision is. What good is supervision when adults cannot stop an attack? No matter if it's an adult woman or man. And I got more stories. More stories about multiple adults standing around watching a dog maul a child and not doing anything to help. And when they try, they fail. So supervision is worthless. Now, if they rest everything on supervision, these videos where kids are alone, babies are alone, like what we just saw with pit bulls, they say that that's okay because there's supervision there. Okay? That's why those videos don't get taken down. Because they say, no, there is supervision. There's an adult behind the camera. But what you also see on camera is adults always failing to stop an attack. Quite often ending up being attacked themselves and needing help themselves. No such thing as a responsible dog owner. Not even if you're a grown, muscular man. You can be mauled as well. And if a pit bull is mauling a child, I don't care how strong you are. You're going to go through a lot to stop that attack. So there goes your supervision. So now there's an even stronger case for endangerment. Okay? There's no way to refute that.
Carpet, he couldn't.
Police say that victim was taken
Okay,
to a
what'd she say?
hospital. A man.
And he was screaming and they was telling him to get on the carpet, he couldn't.
Police say that
a man,
victim
a
was
grown man, he couldn't even get on top of a car. He was neutralized. And he's supposed to be the one supervising somebody's child?
taken to a hospital with severe injuries. Several blocks away, a third person inside his home heard a commotion, looked out and saw the dogs chasing yet another group of children.
He got in between the dogs and the children, allowing the kids to get away, and the dogs turned their attention to this gentleman and bit him several times.
So by this point, the dogs had bitten 3 people. Then police arrived, and Lieutenant Barano says one of the dogs began to attack an officer.
At that time, the officer drew his weapon, fired several times, striking and killing one of the dogs.
Animal Services later captured this dog.
And only after the pit bull was killed was there peace. Had he killed all of them, he would have ensured that people were safe. As long as these things are alive, nobody's safe. I know you pit nutters. You hate to hear us say stuff like that. I know. But it is what it is. That's the truth. The safest way, and it's not even safe, but if you're going to have a pit bull around a child, the safest way to do it is to have your gun drawn and pointing it at the pit bull the entire time it's around the child. That's the safest way you could possibly do it. Not to run across the room after it's started to maul the child, have the child in its jaws shaking. No, too much injury, too much damage is being done. The safest way is to stop the attack immediately as soon as you see it start, because it happens fast. But how safe is pointing a gun at a child? It's child endangerment. Pit bulls need to be exterminated in the interest of child safety globally. After you exterminate bully breeds, and I mean all bully breeds, not just pit bulls, but all of the mixes, that includes Rottweilers. After you exterminate those, then we can worry about the other mutants. But they have to go right now. There's no reason to tolerate their presence any longer. It is very irresponsible to ignore their presence, to fail to drive them into extinction is very irresponsible
In one Claremont County
and demonic.
Community neighbors tell Night on Your Side they have witnessed multiple pit bull attacks in the last year. But since then, they claim not much has been done to stop the dogs from possibly attacking again. We want to warn you, one of these photos taken after an attack is a bit graphic. The Now's Brianna Harper went digging to find out where the responsibility lies.
Since the start of this year, Claremont County Animal Shelter has been under new management, which means cases prior to 2015 is no longer among their records. Now some residents of past cases are concerned about the next step. Laura Parker says her daughter was a victim in a pit bull attack nearly 2 weeks ago. Their family dog, Bruno, caused these injuries to the young girl's face.
Whoa.
He was attached to her face. I actually had to pull him off of her face. I called 911. They came to the house.
Hey, another thing. I want y'all to keep track of how many of these victims are women and children. Women and children. Try to keep record of it. And after, tell us what percentage of the victims were women and children. What makes these things even more dangerous is that they target the most vulnerable, women and children. Any failure to drive these things out of your community is a failure of your life. I mean, as men, you are absolutely useless. You're useless and worthless if you don't take steps to protect your women and children. Seriously, and I'm not trying to sound like a knight in shining armor here, but you can't ignore this. It's the fact. They prefer children. The next victim's female.
I was in complete shock.
Bruno has since been put down, but his parents, who neighbors say are equally as aggressive, are still around.
I don't want to see somebody else get hurt by these animals or possibly even
Yeah, that's another problem. Like I always point out, they're not animals. Stop saying that. Stop referring to these things as animals. You know how they say, I didn't know an animal attack could be this bad. Stop that. Because no other animal is attacking people like this.
Killed because they have slipped through the cracks.
The facilities director here at Animal Services says he has contacted the county prosecutor, and now that will be up to the prosecutor to decide the fate of those dogs. Reporting Brianna Harper, The Now, Cincinnati.
Okay. Another unprovoked attack. You know what's crazy? We can watch 30, 40 videos, and we never see one that's provoked, an attack that's provoked.
In other news, a disturbing story in Winchester tonight. A woman has died from injuries she sustained in a pit bull attack.
Authorities have identified the woman as 45-year-old April Collins. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says they've never dealt with an animal attack so severe.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Trying to protect the pit bull already. As soon as it starts. Stop. Don't include animals with this. If she had been around a deer or something, she'd be just fine. Okay?
Animal attack so severe. Alexa Helwig has the story.
April Collins was apparently attacked by that pit bull last Thursday, but the Clark County Sheriff tells me this wasn't the first time this kind of situation has happened in that household.
A "Beware of the Dog" sign hangs on the front door of this house in Winchester. Authorities say this is where April Collins' husband found her unresponsive from an apparent pit bull attack. She was rushed to Clark County Medical Center on Thursday night and then flown to UK Hospital, where she died Friday morning. The family has 2 dogs, but one of them has shown aggression numerous times in the past.
The dog had attacked her again the night before, and as he was intervening, the dog had bitten him too, but neither one of them sought medical attention at that time.
Ooh. Ooh. They did not seek medical attention. Why? They didn't want to hurt the reputation of the pit bull. And notice how they're more motivated to not seek medical attention if they have a pit bull. So can you imagine how many unreported pit bull attacks there are? They're the least likely to want to get medical attention because they don't want to further hurt the reputation of pit bulls. A reputation that pit bulls worked for exclusively, that they earned 100%. Well, that sounds like people who are trying to protect killers. That's exactly what they are. Okay? So if you're trying to protect the killer, that must mean you enjoy the killings. Is there any way to deny that? You get off on the killings in some way, shape, form, or fashion. In your little twisted mind, you love it. Okay? Pit bull lovers, you're the ones who insist on projecting these things as angels. So you should be ready for people to point out the facts.
Police will continue to investigate the series of events that led up to that attack, and we're told
the series of events that led up to the attack, the investigation. Nothing ever comes out of the investigation, but they keep conducting it, don't they? It's all a cover-up. It's all a scam. Now, what is this? Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. That good old supervision. Shout out to the new members. Yesterday, a couple people became a member of the channel. Shout out to them. And shout out to everybody. Shout out to somebody. Kayamo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Big shout out to you in the super chat. Big shout out to everybody. I see some new faces in here. Good to see everyone. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. Now, what I want you to look at in this video is that good old supervision. You got here some so-called responsible dog owners who have their dogs on leashes. You notice how they said abandoned pit bull? Pit bull was not abandoned. That was her pit bull. There's your supervision. Oh, look at how effective the adult supervision is. Huh? The damage is done. Can they ever stop an attack before it happens? Didn't she see the lip licking? What's wrong? You didn't see the mutt licking its lips? How come these people, you never hear stories of them, like I said this before, stopping an attack before it happens because they saw the signs? Where are all these good dog owners y'all talk about? You want to keep an eye, ain't that what that behavior said? You want to keep an eye out for lip licking, if its tail is tucked, if it's looking away, as if she has stopped several dogs in her past. Oh, I've stopped 150 attacks because I saw the signs. Stop it. Well, wait a minute. Whoa, what is this? What is this? Oh, this is horrible. This is in South Africa. South Africans, what are y'all doing down there?
Best friend. But many won't say the same about pit bulls. Viewed as killer dogs by some, a 5-year-old fell victim to a savage attack.
She's damaged. I don't know how damaged she is. I don't know if she's going to be able to come and walk back to school or to help herself, because she's got operation all over her waist. And I don't know about brain, if she's still normal.
Despite the number of attacks by pit bulls, even mauling their owners, the Pit Bull Federation says the dogs are not dangerous.
Oh, the Pit Bull Federation over there in South Africa says that the dogs are not dangerous.
The organization says wrong breeding and poor training turn them into killers.
Wrong breeding and poor training turns them into killers. Now, before we go on, can anybody tell me, how does she know that? How did she find that out? How could she? They just make this stuff up, people. That's all it is. They make it up. There's no way for them to find that. Not even the investigators who conduct the investigations find this kind of stuff out. If they did, trust me, they would make it public. They never come back and say, oh, we discovered that the dog was raised to be vicious. Right? We discovered that it was poorly bred. That never happens. But lo and behold,
the dogs are not dangerous. The organization says wrong breeding and poor training turn them into killers.
We as an organization, with all our members that know the breed, know how the breed works, haven't got that problem. But why are
So she said the people who know the breed, they don't get attacked. They don't have that problem, the people who know the breed. Again, how does she know that? We've heard stories of dog handlers being attacked. How can she make a blanket? This is what they do, people. This is what they do. She has no idea what dog attack victims knew before they were attacked, or before their dog attacked somebody's child. This is what they resort to, making things up.
How the breed works, haven't got that problem. But why are incidents happen? Wrong people have the dogs for the wrong reasons.
What? Wrong people have the dogs for the wrong reasons. She's talking about these. Listen to what she says.
The dogs for the wrong reasons. Buy dogs off internet from wrong breeders, and it's not proper pit bulls, and that is the big thing.
They buy them on the internet from wrong breeders, and they're not proper pit. How did she find that out? What database is she using? How'd she discover that? She hasn't. She's making it up.
That we as an organization is busy fighting. We're sitting with these maulings, and we can say there's a lot that we don't want to say something, but it's going to happen. It's not pit bulls, it's not the proper pit bull that we as an organization stands for.
What is a proper pit bull? How is a pit bull an improper pit? What is she talking about? She said, oh, the pit bulls who attack people, they were bought off the internet and they were not properly bred and they were not proper pit bulls. There you have it. She's playing the role of God right now, basically.
Since the beginning of the year, the Federation recorded 4 incidents, 3 of which involved children. It supports the calls for proper licensing.
It must happen. But we're asking the whole of South Africa, all the organizations that saying they're fighting for the breed, all the rescue organizations, everybody that's saying they want to fight for the breed, stand with us. As an organization, we can go out and we can start regulate it. You have to have a license. We know there's certain organizations that don't have the capacity to regulate it. But us as a breed organization that loves the breed are willing to step up and say, let's regulate it. Give us the mandate to fight for the dogs. Stop the backyard breeding. Stop the guys that owning these dogs as a macho.
See? She said, stop the backyard breeding. The guys who own the dogs trying to be macho. People, almost all the attacks I've shared here, they were not macho men. The dogs were owned by women like herself. Little petite, harmless, meek women with the exact personality that she has. Those are the majority of the victims. It's usually those dogs that attack, not the macho guys. She's just pulling this out of thin air. This is what they do. They paint a bad scenario for the dog to be in or whatnot and claim that that's the majority or all of the cases. Wow. You talk about untrustworthy. When virtually every story we read about, hear about, the victim was a lady. Do you notice how they never reference to any books? The only studies they reference to are studies that was performed by dog lovers that are still badly flawed. Those temperament studies, we've gone over how flawed those are, or even dog lovers call them flawed.
Give us the mandate to fight for the dogs.
They're saying, hey, let people who know the breed own them. What is she talking about? That is what she's trying to argue.
Stop the backyard breeding. Stop the guys that owning these dogs as a macho thing.
The National Civic Organization, SANCO, which has been assisting the mother of the 5-year-old victim, is also in favor of licenses to own pit bulls.
The videos that we have seen, it's very painful. And I want to agree with the Federation to say, as SANCO, this is the weapon that we need to send a petition before the Parliament and make sure that these pit bull dogs have been regulated so that...
Have been regulated. He's saying the same thing that she was saying. He's regurgitating what she was saying. He's basically following her orders. She's saying, oh no, let's just regulate them. And so he's saying the same thing.
Any person that is taking this animal, not understanding the techniques of this animal, it's very dangerous to the.
You hear what he said? Anybody who's owning a pit bull who don't understand the techniques of a pit bull, it can be very dangerous. He basically regurgitated the same thing that she just stood up there and said. Over there in South Africa, get a backbone. Look, this ain't the type of world where you go around being all weak and dumb like this. Letting your kids get mutilated by these bloodthirsty killing machines. Pit bulls love to kill more than they love anything else. They love to kill more than they love to eat. There's nothing that they love more than killing. They're killing machines. They were actually bred for it. To kill, not just attack. All dogs can attack. They were bred to kill. That's why they don't stop. What's that hashtag? Don't back down. They don't back down. They don't stop. You have to have a bullet.
A community in mourning. A 7-year-old boy mauled to death by 2 pit bulls this weekend. The boy was attacked when he climbed into a fenced-off area where the dogs were kept. Good afternoon. I'm Chris McKinnon.
And I'm Kate Merrill.
They said he climbed into a fenced-off area where the dogs were kept.
Gruesome attack is now under investigation. WBC's Anna Milo reports now from Lowell.
Neighbors are shaken and grief-stricken by the loss of a 7-year-old boy who was mauled to death by pit bulls over the weekend. Loved ones have been stopping by this memorial, leaving candles, flowers, and balloons in memory of the little boy. Neighbors light candles at a memorial for a 7-year-old boy who was attacked and killed by 2 pit bulls on Clare Street in Lowell over the weekend.
He was a good kid. We do miss him.
Officials say the attack happened around 6 o'clock Saturday evening. Several neighbors heard yelling and ran over to find a horrific scene.
Everyone was screaming. No one knew what to do. Probably 15 people just watching it happen. Nothing.
You hear that? 15 people watching it happen. There's your supervision. So this is the best supervision possible. Not just one adult, but 15. If 15 adults can't stop the dog from attacking, what good is one adult? What good is supervision if y'all can't stop these things? Because if you can't stop an attack that's underway, you won't be able to stop it before it happens. Once this pit bull decides to attack, you're just a bystander. So there's no way to ensure a child's safety when a pit bull is present. It's impossible. And everybody knows that. We all know that. But we've been under this spell where we try to pretend that that's not the case. Where a bunch of people try to pretend like supervision is sufficient. And after each story, we find that supervision is worthless.
Nothing anyone could do.
The district attorney's office says the 7-year-old boy had entered a fenced-in area where the dogs were being kept.
Yeah, the kid was playing with the ball. It was like 6 or 7 kids, and the ball went through the fence. So the ball went to the other side of the fence, and he jumped the fence, and the dog grabbed him and killed him.
But some neighbors...
They said he jumped the fence. Do y'all believe that? Y'all believe that boy jumped the fence? Listen to this.
But some neighbors have heard conflicting stories.
The boy had leaned over the fence like this. Come on, boy. The dog grabbed and pulled him over the fence. But the boy did not go in there on his own.
I believe him. I usually believe the people who get into specifics of what they saw. That's what that sounded like. Gave you a clear description
Stories.
The boy had leaned over the fence like this. Come on, boy. The dog grabbed and pulled him over the fence. That the boy did not go in there on his own.
So the boy was trying to make friends with the dog in hopes of retrieving his ball. And they pulled him over and mauled him. Once again, unprovoked. As always. As always. These things are never provoked. What are you doing out there? You government bodies sacrificing your youth, torturing them.
Dog attack over the weekend left 2 college students with some gruesome injuries. News 4's Angelica Morrison talked to one of the victims about what happened. Angelica?
Jackie, a horrifying experience. That's how one of the victims describes the attack. It happened during dance practice in the Buffalo State College campus.
I have 10 holes in my leg. I have 10 holes in my leg. It's my knee, my upper thigh. It's hard for me. My leg is swollen.
Every Sunday, Buffalo State sophomore Asia DeSandes and her classmates have dance practice at Buckham Hall. It's an activity she enjoys, but this past Sunday, the experience was much different.
I thought life was over at that point. You know, I'm getting attacked. There's teeth I'm looking at. I look back, and it's like, because, I was laying on my stomach as I was getting attacked, and it's just like, you're watching this dog attack you.
A spectator brought a dog into the room and it viciously attacked her and the other dancer.
The dog was leashed
Oh, so you had a responsible dog owner? Is that it? They brought the pit bull into the dance class. The dog was on the campus. So what were these people doing? They were pretending that the dog was harmless. That's why this is the era of the destruction of pit bull advocacy. People are going to stop pretending because it's just not intelligent to pretend. Especially to pretend like something that's deadly is actually not. There's nothing cool or hip about that. I don't understand how people have been made to believe that that is so righteous and cool and hip to pretend like the dog won't attack me. Or let's just pretend that it will never do it, will never attack anyone. That's stupid. All my college students, this happened at a college campus. You know, it's much more likely that I will be able to speak before college campuses because it's a lot easier to be invited by some of the sororities or fraternities, and they can arrange sort of events. It's a lot of opportunities to have events. So I don't care if it's college students, we're going to have events and we're going to talk about nothing but good old common sense. This ain't rocket science. Stop pretending like dogs that were bred to kill bulls are harmless.
But broke away from the restraint.
Okay, it was on a leash and broke away from restraint. Oh, there's your responsible dog owner. Nobody is sufficient. Nobody can restrain these things. You see a pit bull owner with a dog on a leash. That dog is basically free to attack whoever it wants.
The restraint, and the person who brought the dog to campus was not the owner.
So the person, listen,
was out of town, and this person was watching the dog. So
this was a flipping dog sitter. Somebody's sitting for somebody else's pit bull, and they're gonna bring it onto a college campus. See how reckless these people are? They're just living in Wonderland, totally detached from the real world. And these college students, don't be stupid. You can't be intelligent if you're doing stuff like this. This is not intelligent.
We don't know how much he knew of the dog's behavior.
The dog was a pit bull and it was taken in by animal control. Campus police say animals are not allowed in state buildings, with a few exceptions.
There are exceptions for service dogs and police dogs, and I can give you a copy of the law, but in this, it would clearly be the dog being in the building was in violation.
Police say the dog attack is still under investigation.
They brought it into class. It broke free and attacked someone. They want to investigate that.
Meantime, the two dancers are still trying to heal from their injuries. Asia says it could stop her from doing what she loves.
I'm still debating.
So you might not.
I might not dance.
Why not, hon?
This is my leg. It's my leg. I don't know if I want to put that kind of pressure on my leg.
Well, there you go. Now you may never dance again because you wanted to pretend like a pit bull was harmless. This happens all the time. Jacqueline Duran ended up without a face because she wanted to pretend like pit bulls were harmless. This happens all the time. Are you going to be one of the stupid ones?
And some disturbing video to show you tonight of a pit bull attack in a Huntsic Cartierville.
Oh, I love it. Pit bull, pit bull, pit bull. Attack, attack, attack. I love displaying these things as the evil, bloodthirsty, extremely dangerous mutants that they actually are. These despicable pit nutters trying to lie. They're no different from other. These things have astronomical statistics that bears witness to their viciousness. And they prefer to attack women and kids. They're usually owned by soft, harmless, meek, petite women. Not these young macho guys. Most of those guys keep the dogs in check because they beat them so badly. And you all know it. Stop playing dumb. Y'all want to cling on to this myth that the pit bulls that attack were raised by some macho guy that abused it. Dogs understand violence. That's how they get respect from other dogs in the pack. They use violence. And the other dogs generally don't mess with them. If it proves that it's the toughest, it gets to eat first. It's the alpha. Other dogs attack only after it attacks first. They respect violence. That's why they say that pit bulls are harder to train. What they're saying is that you have to spend more time bullying them, beating on them. This is what they do. Now, I'm not giving advice, telling people to go out and beat dogs. I'm just telling you what they do. We've seen it. We've seen them caught on camera beating these mutants. They're all online talking about how they beat these dogs. And those young macho guys, they rarely get attacked. I mean, the failure of this idea of raising them with love and then they'll be loving is everywhere. It's shameful that they cling to it, even though every attack involves some petite, loving woman or some elderly woman. Get out of here.
It happened outside an apartment building, and it left a 29-year-old woman with injuries that have her unable to work for the next 4 to 6 weeks. People living at the building want the dog euthanized, but so far all the dog's owner has received is a fine. Rob Lurie with more on that tonight.
Surveillance video shows Nancy Martell walking into her building.
Now, this is interesting. Some of y'all remember I showed this before. Now, what we have to pay attention to here is the victim. Notice how she did not approach the dog. She did not approach that dog. The dog approached her. Don't they tell you to let the dog approach you? No, you don't let no dog approach you. This might happen. It might approach you and then attack you. They say it as if you're safe if a dog approaches you. You ever noticed that? As if, oh, if a dog approaches you, you're safe. That's a sign that it's not going to attack you. But if you approach it, you might get attacked. Notice also how this woman stood still. For a moment, she was a tree. Yeah, she opened the door. She wanted to let them in first. She's trying to be nice. And you see this responsible dog owner with the dog on a leash. Here's your supervision. But was she able to stop an attack? Absolutely not. They never are. And this is her response. To kick it a few times. You know how stupid, do y'all really want to be stupid and trust people like this? And look, yet another young lady. And I'm supposed to assume that all of these young women raise these dogs to fight? Stop it. Stop it. Right, now let's finish this.
So far, all the dog's owner has received is a fine. Rob Lurie with more on that tonight.
Surveillance video shows Nancy Martell walking into her building.
Oh, unprovoked. Almost forgot. Unprovoked. She didn't do anything to that dog. Sometimes I forget to point it out because all attacks are unprovoked.
When seemingly for no reason, the dog named...
Seemingly for no reason? Even when it's caught on camera, a totally unprovoked attack, they still try to say it's up for debate. As if they didn't see her not do anything.
Surveillance video shows Nancy Martell walking into her building when seemingly for no reason, the dog named Chucky starts biting. He locks...
Then they give the dog's name. So this report is pro pit bull. They want the audience to connect and sympathize with the dog.
...onto her for 20 seconds and even drags Martell. No amount of kicking or pulling the leash can stop the attack. When Chucky finally lets go, Martell is bleeding profusely and in shock.
Wait a minute. No, that can't be true. Because there was supervision there. There was a responsible dog owner there that was using a leash. No way did an attack occur. I must be seeing things.
Let's go. Martell is bleeding profusely and in shock. 9 days later, Nancy Martell is still in pain.
I have some trouble with my ligaments in my knee, and I have stitches here and here.
She also has serious cuts on her fingers and may have permanent damage, but in spite of that, she feels somewhat lucky.
The dog bite me like just beside the big vein of the thigh, so it could have been really worse.
Following the attack.
Okay, now, if she were an anti-dog person, she wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have done that. Open no door for no pit nutter so they could take their irresponsible behind past you and put you in danger. I don't think so. We keep our distance and remind them, control your dog. I'm armed. right? Let them see that you're armed. No. You have to be anti-dog. In order to be as safe as possible, you have to be anti-dog, especially anti-pit bull. Keep your distance from these people. Don't go into these people's homes. If you want to stay safe, you have to operate against these people's existence. Don't be friends with these people. Don't go anywhere near them.
Following the attack, the landlord called police and the city. Chucky's owner was given a $500 fine and ordered to keep the dog muzzled for the next 90 days. But the dog still remains at the building.
Les locataires m'appellent à longueur de journée. Ils ont peur pour leur sécurité.
I'm getting calls all day, says the landlord. The tenants are scared for them and their children. The landlord wants Chucky the dog out of the building, but the owner refuses to go. So the landlord went to the régie to have him evicted.
On va se voir dans 3 ans.
But because the régie doesn't think it's an urgent matter, they gave him a hearing in 3 years. The borough says it...
Wow. Even though they had the attack on film. So it's up to us, people. The law's not going to help us. Now, the people are the law. And we're going to have to make these anti-dog laws. They want bloodshed. That's why they're reluctant to do anything to this woman.
3 years. The borough says it's following the law, and within 2 to 3 weeks will send a veterinarian to evaluate Chucky's behavior.
Send a dog nut to evaluate its behavior. See the type of program they have going here? It's like a mafia. They're going to send one of their representatives out to evaluate the dog. And they're going to make sure that they say that the dog is safe. Oh, it was just temporarily insane. It's perfectly fine now.
Demander à ce que l'animal soit euthanasié.
If we deem he's dangerous, he says, we'll insist Chucky be euthanized. The SPCA is quick to say, don't blame the pit bull breed.
It is very rarely the dog's fault. It is often what shaped the dog into becoming a certain way.
What? How did you find that out? You notice how all of a sudden these people know the history of every pit bull that has ever attacked anybody in history? Suddenly, somehow, they know the full history of all of those pit bulls, and they're going to break it down to you.
Very rarely the dog's fault. It is often what shaped the dog into becoming a certain way.
What shaped it into becoming a certain way? Okay, so what are you saying about these owners? You saying that she shaped it to be that way? Just blindly blaming all owners whose pit bull has ever attacked of shaping the pit bull. That's pretty convenient. You know, can we do the same with murderers? Can we say it's not their fault? That it's all about what shaped them to be that way? So there's no reason to execute them, give them life in prison. They should be out on the streets.
Having said that, animal behavior experts at the SPCA watched video of the attack.
What this dog seemed to have done does look alarming. It is not a normal behavior for a dog to just randomly attack somebody.
Yes, it is a normal behavior. What is you talking about? What is she talking about? Talking as if she has dozens of videos where dogs attack people for a legitimate reason. Show them. Let's see them. Because I got videos upon videos showing the opposite. Let's compare. Let's see who run out of videos first. This is nonsense, people. This is their destruction. This is not a two-way debate. They know that it's time for them to go. They know it. This is one of their experts. She is a pit nutter. This woman is talking. She's a pit nutter. I think she's a veterinarian. But you can tell she's a pit nutter, a dog nutter. Because they all give these worthless excuses like this.
It is not a normal behavior for a dog to just randomly attack somebody.
You know, virtually all attacks is where the dog randomly attacked. We just went through several on this live stream. What are you talking about? Where are you getting that information, you big dummy? Oh man, see, this is not good. I should not be talking like this. See, these behaviors, they're never gonna come onto the show if I keep acting like this. But look, you know, you should be happy. You should accept this. You know, you have aggressive opposition here. And we want to challenge everything that you say. And this is one of the popular narratives. It's rare that they just randomly attack somebody. Okay, give me your large, massive collection of videos that proves it. This is so embarrassing. This is so bad for these pit nutters that I sympathize. I feel sympathy for them. Their arguments are so weak that I honestly, genuinely sort of sympathize with them. Like, this is so sad. So sad to see people going through years of education only to be made dumb as a pillow. And now the masses are realizing exactly how dumb you are and articulating it. Unbelievable.
Attack somebody.
As Chucky awaits his fate, Nancy Martell is recovering and unable to work for more than a month. She says she's not mad at her neighbor, but hopes she'll never have to deal with the dog again. Rob Lurie, CTV.
Ain't nothing wrong with being mad at her. You need to be mad at her. Y'all have to cut this out. I don't blame. Yeah, the owner is a nutter who had no care in the world for other people's safety. You got all the reason in the world to be upset with her. Stop playing dumb. What is this? Oh, dog come out of nowhere. Started to attack her dog. All right. Oh, look at this guy walking down. Well, who is this? Better be careful. Oh, that's the owner casually walking up and grabs his dog. And that's the owner whose dog got away from him again. And he's walking casually, just slowly, moseying along. Oh, he tried to hit it. This man looks like he's about 80 years old. He moves like he's about 80 years old. Totally incapable of controlling this thing. And he doesn't look too excited to get it under his control. Huh? He lost control of this dog twice. But adult supervision is sufficient, right? Isn't that right? Oh, the responsible dog owner. Boy.
But we begin with breaking news in Dearborn. A dog attacks its owner as an animal control officer looks on. It happened as the animal control officer was there after neighbors complained about that dog.
Let's get right.
Wait a minute. He looks on? Okay.
Now to Steve Garagiola. He's live at the home where this happened. Steve? Yeah, you know, the officer was there not in response to the dog attack. This was before the attack. The officer was there to write the owner a ticket for something related to the dogs. The owner apparently went in the house, out into the backyard with the dog, and that's when the trouble started. The signs at the front door give fair warning of what to expect. Neighbors say the trouble with the dogs this afternoon is not a surprise.
I hate to say it, it's been building up. These dogs have gotten out several times.
Why do you hate to say it? Why would you hate to say something like that? Some killers have gotten free multiple times, and you hate to say that they got free multiple times and put everybody in danger. You see what you hating to say something will lead to. Let's smarten up, people. Let's stop being scared. Stop playing dumb. Let's cut this out. This is why our youth don't respect us.
It's not a surprise.
I hate to say it, it's been building up. These dogs have gotten out several times. Neighbor right here has had that dog in his backyard snarling at him.
Early this afternoon, before the attack, an animal control officer approached the owner who was in the backyard of his home with the dog.
Animal control peeked over the fence, I guess, just to kind of see this dog, and the dog went after her.
The owner apparently pulled the dog back to restrain it.
And all of a sudden the dog, I guess, turned on him because all we saw was him flailing around behind the fence there, and he was just going, no, 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 and at some point he goes, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it.
Oh, so this is a grown man. Animal control came over, peeked over the fence, dog went after her, he grabbed it, and then the dog started to attack him. As the dog attacked him, he said, no, no, shoot it, help me, somebody help me. No, you're the supervision. What are you talking about? You're there to prevent an attack or to stop an attack. You're the responsible dog owner. Don't ask for help. Don't ask us to shoot it. You bought it. You adopted it. You knew it was deadly. That's why you adopted it. Don't cry for help now, Nutter.
Late this afternoon, the dog, a pit bull, was put down. The owner suffered injuries to both of his arms.
Pit bull, pit bull, pit bull, pit bull, pit bull. Why? Because they're picking on pit bulls? No, because pit bulls launch the most vicious and destructive attacks. Why? Because they're more dangerous. They're more deadly. Huh? All dogs are dangerous and deadly, but pit bulls more so than any of the others. Every time I say pit bull, I am including all of the mixes, and I'm including Rottweilers, I'm including boxers. All of these are bully breeds. Let's understand that a lot of dogs fall or actually are bully breeds, but they try to separate them so as to depopulate bully breeds. Don't do that.
I've raised pit bulls all my life. I've never had this incident to happen. I'll never have another pit bull dog.
I'll never have another pit bull dog. Why doesn't every pit bull owner say? Now, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not. He could be lying. But you should be so hurt. His wife was killed. When a family member is killed or whatever, you would expect that they would all say that. Even if it's just something they say in the moment. You know what I mean? Just because of the shock of it all. They say, oh, I'll never own another pit bull again in my life. They don't even do that. Typically, they don't even do that. No matter how hurt they are from the recent tragedy, they're still mindful to protect pit bulls. No more. Those days are over. The world is waking up. And I love it. Pit bulls are going down first.
And that is something that a West Wego man thought he'd never have to say until Wednesday. That's when 3 of his pit bulls brutally attacked his wife inside of their home, severely injuring the woman and forcing police to shoot the dogs.
WDSU reporter Andy Cunningham joins us now live at 5 from University Hospital, where the woman remains in critical condition. Andy?
That's right, Scott. 54-year-old Linda Henry has already undergone surgery after surgery here at University Hospital because of that attack. And the question that still remains to be answered, what happened?
See, they always ask the same stupid question, what happened? And they even conduct investigations to find out what happened. And these nutters never come back and explain what happened.
She responds to you now when you talk to her. She can't see you, but she'll shake her head, yes or no.
Clarence Allen talking about his wife, Linda Henry, who suffered severe injuries Wednesday when police say 3 of the family's 4 adult pit bulls attacked her inside the couple's Avenue A home.
We treated these dogs like children. They never had a fight. They ate out the same bowls. I don't know what happened.
Oh my goodness. As you can see, most pit bull owners, they're not that bright. Let's just be honest. Most pit bull owners are not that bright. That's a big reason why they are pit bull lovers. It's a reflection of how bright they are not.
I don't know what happened.
Allen says his wife entered their home carrying the couple's rat terrier when, for reasons still unknown...
Did he say rat terrier? That name is suiting. A rat terrier.
Wife entered their home carrying the couple's rat terrier when, for reasons still unknown, was attacked. The West Wego City...
Reasons still unknown was attacked. What is wrong? That's so sad. So sad. They running game. It's sad how they run game on the public as they report on an attack. Still trying to humanize them. They're trying to humanize it in this report. They're actually protecting it in this report by saying that.
Entered their home carrying the couple's rat terrier when, for reasons still unknown, was attacked. The West Wego City Hall...
As long as they can convince you that there had to have been a reason, you will view the dog as human-like. And it's easy for you to do that because you're a human. So in your mind, yeah, it had to have been a reason because I, as a human, would not do that. There had to be a reason. Dogs don't attack for no reason. So it's a process where people don't appreciate their own unique gifts. Intelligence. People simply, it's a culture of not valuing yourself as a human being.
And police department just up the road meant a quick response, but Mayor John Schattinger said when police arrived, Henry was already fighting for her life, forcing officers to shoot the dogs.
They're the heroes here because if it wouldn't be for their efforts, they saved this lady's life. They saved Miss Henry's life.
The mayor says he and the council plan to take another look at the current dog ordinance to see if more can be done to prevent similar attacks. But
well, sound like these pit bulls approached her. We've just listened to a lot of stories where the pit bulls approached the attack victim. And as they approached them, they attacked them. They approached them to attack them. And they tell you to always let the dog approach you, as if that's proven to be safe.
Leonard Miller was here inside of his home when all of a sudden he heard all kinds of screaming and banging at the door. Miller came outside, and it was the little girl who lives next door here. She said the family pit bull had her sister.
That's another thing. Even if the children are not attacked, she's going to remember this the rest of her life. It's traumatizing. Come on, there's no reason to keep these things in society. None whatsoever.
Family pit bull had her sister. Miller picked up the first thing he could find. This toy soldier nutcracker. He went inside and he went to work. The first thing Leonard Miller saw was that the pit bull had the little girl pinned, his jaws locked down on her upper arm.
Had her and just shaking her and growling. And I hit the dog on the head, I don't know how many times. It didn't faze that dog.
You know what? It didn't faze the dog. Here's the thing. Anything that's willing to launch a deadly attack on a child should be hated. It should be a creature that there's no way you would allow it around your child. A creature like that deserves to be ostracized, abandoned, hated. But seeing that we can't abandon them, we can't let them loose in the wild, the right thing to do is to exterminate them. I don't trust people who loves something that's willing, not only willing, but does it on a regular basis. This breed, pit bulls, bully breeds, attack kids on a regular basis. And the elderly. Just think of a human. Think of a young man, strong man, who loves to go around punching elderly people in the face. A person like that deserves to be ostracized, hated. You definitely would if it was a group of people like that. Well, you have a breed like that, and they deserve to be hated. It is what it is. That's a sign of that's a sign of your morals. The more you hate something that's willing and actively does attack babies. Are you kidding?
Didn't faze it.
Miller said he had hit the dog 4 or 5 times on the head, but he couldn't give up on the little girls.
Or I'll call it yet another adult who couldn't stop the attack.
So he started swinging again.
So I got it and I hit it on the back several times. And
this 88-year-old man seems to be in very good shape. He just might live to be over 100.
It released the little girl then.
The dog backed off for a moment, but it appeared to Miller that the dog was going to attack again.
I said, no, 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 3 times.
It was at this point that the girls ran out of the house. Miller then backed out of the back door. He called for an ambulance. He'll never forget what he saw and heard when he went in that house.
And then this little girl was screaming. She just screamed top of her voice.
Miller served in the Army in the Korean War. He was trained as a medic. Maybe it was that training that took over. You saved her life.
That's what they tell me. That's what the medic said. So
you're a hero.
Well, I don't like that. And he doesn't like it. Don't talk about a person's natural instinct as some type of unusual behavior. He shouldn't have had to do that. You should have been a hero by never being in possession of one. Those are the true heroes. People who would never own one. And if they did, no, if you own one, you ain't no hero of no kind. But these people go even further than owning them. They want to bring them around kids. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing about somebody being a hero because they were forced to stop one of these mutants that you brought into the community.
A man and his dog attacked by 2 pit bulls while out for a simple walk in Nevada.
Tonight he's trying to track down the owner before anyone else gets hurt.
KPIX5's Andrea Nakano with the surveillance video the victim wants you to see.
Isaias Garcia was walking his daughter's dog right down the street. He noticed the two pit bulls in the white SUV, so he crossed the road, but it was too late. Isaias Garcia frequently walks with Leo in this Novato neighborhood. He was right at the intersection of Chase and Plum Streets when he says two pit bulls jumped out of an open window of a white SUV.
Now, I wanted to share that. I don't want to hear from this nutter, this dog nutter, and I don't want to look at this unsightly mutant. But you see this all the time. You see people with pit bulls in their vehicle. A lot of these nutters like to go to drive-thrus. I've seen them in the parking lot of Kroger's where they will, you know how they'll order online and they'll show up and somebody will bring their groceries out. A lot of times pit nutters like to have their windows rolled all the way down or down far enough where it could jump out of the window if it wanted. Just understand, when you see that, they can jump out of those windows. They can.
Only on 2 tonight, a pit bull attacks 2 children, an adult, even a pet.
And Good Samaritans are being credited with helping stop the dog. The attack happened at the Villa Springs apartment on Blue Ash Drive, just west of I-45 in North Houston.
Channel 2 anchor Keith Garvin joining us live from there tonight with the frightening story. Keith?
Yeah, Bill, Christine, frightening for sure, because no one even knows who this dog belongs to. And if it wasn't for the help of 2 Good Samaritans, then this very vicious attack could have turned into a deadly one.
I was just one person trying to help these 3 kids fight off a pit bull.
And the wounds from that attack are still evident today. 9-year-old Madison Brooks was the main victim of this pit bull, pictured here. Shortly after it bit Madison, one of her sisters and a man who came to her rescue. When the animal grabbed Madison by her braids and started biting, she wasn't sure she would make it. What's going through your mind?
You notice, like I've said all the time, there's no reason to refer to it as an animal right now. As if you don't know that it's a dog. There's no reason to do that. You know, why do you keep reminding me that it's an animal? I know that much, even though I don't consider them animals. The way they do that, they make it deliberate. They tell on themselves. They make it obvious that they're trying to hammer some propaganda into your mind. And that is to get you to view this as animal behavior, as normal animal behavior. That's the game. That's the con. To make you think that this is normal. This is just normal animal behavior. It is not.
By her braids and started biting, she wasn't sure she would make it. What's going through your mind?
That I'm never going to see my family again, stuff like that.
It was scary. The first person who came to the girl's rescue was Tina Morgan, who was at the Villa Springs Apartments on Blue Ash Drive near 45 and Ella Boulevard in North Houston Monday. Morgan says she was being shown apartments by a manager when she heard commotion by the playground and saw the dog biting Madison. Someone nearby had some sort of stick, which Morgan used to hit the dog to stop the attack.
I never would let him get a hold of her again. You know, I just kept hitting him, trying not to hit the baby.
If you notice, you would never think that they were from Houston. They're quite articulate. The parents and the children. That's interesting. So once again, pit bulls attack children unprovoked. This was a child and a female child. You know, you should take this as a need for protection. You know, your kids and your women need protection. They're out here getting torn apart. But lo and behold, one of the biggest fans of pit bulls is women themselves. Now, you know, some of those women, They really love their dogs, if you know what I mean. Same as the men. It was a story here recently. Speak of the devil. This surfaced today. A man charged with having sex with dogs. All right. And here's that joker right here. There's a lot of men who get into this. So you can't turn these people around. If this guy were to listen to my videos, it would have no effect on him. Because he's getting it on with dogs. I don't care what you say. I have a lot of fun with my dogs. Screw you. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the creatures that this behaviorist suggests that you bring your kids around. Right? These are the creatures.
And also on Long Island now, following some breaking news where a woman
that never attack unprovoked. Y'all really believe that?
Long Island now, following some breaking news where a woman was killed by a dog.
It happened at her home in Albertson in Nassau County. CBS 2.
Another woman. Now, going back to that woman in South Africa, talking about the wrong people are in possession of these things. And those wrong people are the young macho guys in the backyard breeders. Yet those are never the victims. Their families are really never the victims. So where are you getting that from?
Who's Allie Bauman live at the scene with the breaking details. Allie.
Maurice and Christine, police described this scene as horrific. They say when officers first arrived here, they found the 70-year-old victim had been mutilated in her backyard. It happened at this home on Terrace Court in Albertson, Nassau County. Police say the victim's 66-year-old husband left for work this morning. He returned home around 1 p.m. and found his wife, a 70-year-old woman, being dragged to the backyard by their pet pit bull. He called 911, and police say when officers arrived, the 7-year-old dog turned on them. One of the officers shot and killed the dog. An ambulance arrived and pronounced the woman dead at the scene. Sadly, this is the second heartbreak in a matter of weeks for this family. Just a couple weeks ago, the couple's son died in a motorcycle accident, and this was his pet dog.
We didn't hear anything. My husband was in the backyard. We didn't hear a dog. We didn't hear an attack. Nothing.
I remember the son, when he was alive, he used to walk him with both hands holding that leash. And that dog was leading him.
He said the dog was leading him. Meaning that the dog was the alpha. How about that? So y'all saying that this woman provoked this dog? Why should we believe you? Why should we believe that? No evidence. You just want to assume that all pit bulls that attack were raised in the backyard by young macho guys who taught them to fight.
A boy in her arms mauled to death by pit bulls.
They weren't going to stop until they were done. Only on 12.
Okay, yeah, I gotta be careful with this one. Right? In fact, let me not even show that. Y'all remember this story. She was a pit bull lover as well. She was holding a baby. The dog jumped up and latched onto the baby as she held the baby. And this was her pit bull. This was her baby. She said she treated it like a baby. They raised these things from puppies. Sweet little pooch. She's never abused them. Wasn't abusive. And they attacked. But we're supposed to believe this woman who say that they're all raised by young macho guys who train them to attack. Oh, stop it. What? That argument is so weak at this point. Why is it so many children, children and women that get attacked? It's like exclusively women and children.
Family is thanking the doctors who saved the life of a 5-month-old baby.
Oh my goodness. What in the world? I'm not selectively looking for these type of videos. When you listen to the videos that are available to you, most of them are like this. Oh, a 5-month-old. Now, I'm sure a lot of pit nutters are going to say, well, that 5-month-old did something.
A 5-month-old baby mauled by a pit bull.
Eyewitness News reporter Rob Nelson is live in New Hyde Park with the story. Rob.
Well, good afternoon, guys. This was an absolutely horrific pit bull attack back in March that nearly killed a 2-month-old baby boy. But today, that boy's family was back here in the hospital behind me. And today, nothing but smiles and, as you can imagine, plenty of gratitude. Now 5 months old, little Nathan has made a remarkable recovery, and that was on full display today at Cohen's Children's Medical Hospital here in New Hyde Park. It was back on March 8th when Nathan, in his car seat, and his mother were visiting their landlady in Elmont. Well, when that door opened, 2 pit bulls ran out, not only biting the...
Uh-oh.
Elmont. Well, when that door opened, 2 Cohen's Children's Medical Hospital here in New Hyde Park. It was back on March 8th when Nathan, in his car seat, and his mother were visiting their landlady in Elmont.
Visiting their landlady.
Well, when that door opened, 2 pit bulls ran out, not only biting the mother, but...
Okay. We hear this. This is common. A door opens. Out comes pit bulls. Go straight after a baby. Child, baby, toddler. But yet, she insists that the kids are unpredictable. The kids are unpredictable. And quite often, they do something to agitate, make the dog uncomfortable. These behaviors, they say this nonstop, and we never hear that scenario in the actual reports. Why should we believe that this baby did something to these dogs that ran from afar to attack? Y'all know that that's a lie. You all know it's a lie. People have caught on to your pit bull propaganda. Bunch of lies.
Pit bulls ran out, not only biting the mother, but also severely injuring Nathan with bites to his face and to his head. In fact, the dog's teeth punctured and fractured the baby's skull, leaving that little boy suffering seizures and in grave condition.
That's another thing. These pit bulls quite often will puncture babies' skulls. Now, with these pit nutters, they like to brag that pit bulls don't have the strongest bite force, that other dogs have a more powerful bite. They always cling to weak arguments. If they bite strong enough to puncture a skull, it doesn't matter if other dogs have a more powerful bite. That's completely irrelevant.
It took a 5-hour operation to repair Nathan's injuries, and doctors admit they will have to continue to monitor the little boy for years. They say Nathan's injuries, though, thankfully happened in a forgiving part of the brain, and that is one of the things that helped him get through this horrifying ordeal and to give him a great...
Okay, see, I don't like the way they're projecting the idea that the baby is just as sane and just the same as any other baby who had never been attacked. Because that's part of their propaganda too. That if you live, well, then we don't have a problem. You know, 1,000 babies can be attacked the same way this baby was attacked. As long as they live through it, we don't have a pit bull problem. Yeah, I don't like that tactic. Yeah, you got to be real careful with these people. They can be, you know, sometimes sophisticated, kind of sophisticated with their propaganda. Oh, and of course this classic. This video I've shared before, and it's a classic. Because it really shows how unprovoked these attacks are. where this guy's strolling along, minding his business, and the dogs approach him, which is supposed to be safe, right? Huh? Let the dog approach you, like the expert said, like the behaviorist said. Well, he did that. And what happened when the dog approached him? Well, it attacked. That's what happened. Let it approach you. Oh, let it approach you again. Nonsense. So this is terrible. I've gone through a lot of videos, and I have a lot more. On top of that, I have all these stories up here. All proof and evidence that these things deserve to be exterminated. They're long overdue. They attack unprovoked. They love to kill. They love to attack. They are a waste of space, a hazard to our environment in several ways. They don't benefit our environment or us at all. Zero. That's dogs in general, but especially pit bulls. These things have left such a thick blood trail that nobody should argue against the idea of exterminating them. Who is dumb enough, immoral enough, subhuman enough to do that? These things have killed enough. They've ruined enough lives, disfigured enough people. It's time to put an end to this unnecessary aggression. Right? This is a lethal threat to everyone. And you all insist on giving them as much opportunity as possible. Anybody can purchase them. Anybody can own them. No matter if they have a house. Can you imagine? Some people could have a house with like 4 or 5 toddlers in it. Think of a mother who's had, a couple sets of quintuplets. And here comes the pit bulls. Oh, anybody can own them. It's getting out of hand. I'm glad that people are starting to wake up. Big shout out to everybody. I just felt like, projecting pit bulls in their natural state. That's all. And sort of commenting on these horrible videos. Videos that show that these things are never provoked. That they're bloodthirsty. Videos that don't confirm anything that these behaviorists and veterinarians claim. There is no time to look for signs. These attacks come out of nowhere, completely unprovoked. And their agenda is falling apart fast. And I'm loving it. Big shout out to everybody who's able to join me. We have been here for a very long time, over 2 hours, going on 2 hours and 20 minutes. It is what it is. And I hope to see you all on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.